And here's the game. Time to load the game. Hello everyone. How are you doing? It's been a while again, I know. Hope you're doing well. So, we are back with Crystalline, and I cannot remember for the life of me what happened. I do remember there was a smooching, and there was a helping of stealing of papers. That's all I can vaguely remember. There was a swimsuit episode. We saw Zach in shorts. That was hard. Oh, so hard. Alright, so shall we just crack on with this? I think that's probably for the best. Oh, I should also say I suffer from allergies, or hay fever if you're English, and I can tell you now I might sound like trash. Believe me, I wish I didn't, but nature hates me so. So, the next morning we meet Gingalain, bright and early downstairs of the inn. I remember now, we met a guy at the bar. He leads us towards the city exit, and soon we return to familiar roads. Our path takes us along the beach for a short while. The white sands glitter beneath the sunlight and filter annoyingly into our shoes. Oh, I hate that. Eventually, we return to flat dirt roads and travel late into dusk. When the sun is finally creeping below the horizon, we stop a bit. Wow, that sentence. We stop a bit off of the main path into a grove of trees to make camp. After the fire is lit, the savory perfume of dinner makes my stomach growl. We all gather together as we serve out the food. Oh, I do love the nighttime scenes. They're beautiful. Kara sits close to Zach during dinner, her arm brushing against his whenever she takes a bite of food. I catch Zach glancing at her every once in a while before quickly looking away. Liana scoots closer to Gingalain.
So, Gingalan, can you tell us some more stories?
Oh, I don't know.
Please?
She moves even closer. Her eyes glitter with a kind of excitement I usually associate with small children.
We'd love to hear one.
Amelia takes a tiny bite and then nods.
Perhaps one which is not as widely known.
Liana beams at Gingalain.
Well, if that's what you wish, how can I refuse?
Well, how could he refuse? There's a heavy pause. After a moment, Gingalain takes a deep breath.
I loved a Shadowcaster.
His voice was low and sad.
I loved how her giggles shimmered with silver. I loved her moonlit hair, her star-flecked fingers. Together we wished, we teased, we played. She covered me in twilight, in soft murmurs and rain. I'll show you, my sweetling, she whispered, she soothed. My friends and their shadow magic are just misunderstood. But, little by little, her mind turned to dark flowers and violent meteor showers. Shadows poured from her mouth. She spat, she swore, she roared, splattering me with ink, with oil and ore. The night was too strong, too much underneath her skin. It flared from her fingers, her shoulders, her rings. She tore apart our friendship, our home, our dreams. Surely, her friends, dishonest and cruel, surely she had me fooled.
Gingalain pauses. For a moment, I'm not sure if he's going to continue.
I joined them and discovered too late the mistake I had made. They had been wrong, not her. She was trying to save them, to keep their magic pure. But the shadows, they whispered, they crawled and lingered. She fell into my arms, light as mist. Her power wreathed about her neck, her chest, her wrists. As she sobbed, she whimpered, "Please, take me with you. We'll cuddle in our garden of auroras. We'll build a house of starlight, of everything lovely and bright." But there was nothing I could do. She faded into twilight, into smoke and wind. I'm left with nothing but the memory of her left on my skin.
Oof, that was pretty harsh, man. It's pretty deep. F for the lady. There's a thick silence, the weight of his story still hanging in the air. The moonlight cast over Gingalane's silver hair and beard, bringing out the dark shadows across his face. The fire crackles and pops. Finally, Gingalane bows his head.
Thank you for listening to my tale.
Leanna's eyes shimmer with tears.
That was so beautiful.
Gingalane smiles, but it doesn't quite reach his eyes.
Thank you.
But it was also so sad.
That's because it was from the heart, dear. This Weasley old man is using poetry to steal my girl. It was okay. That was heartbreak. Well, that was heartbreak. My heart caves in my chest. Wow, that's such a horrible thing to have to go through. I tried to imagine watching someone I love slowly deteriorate into madness. It couldn't have been easy, and then not having the power to be able to help or stop it. My heart goes out to whoever this was. It was beautifully written. Gingalane looks up to me. His smile is small and sad, and I think I see gratitude in his eyes. Does this story have to do with him? He nods.
Thank you.
Soon after we finish eating, Gingalane leaves to refill his canteen with water from a nearby stream. Leanna and Amelia go out into the field, but I'm not too certain what it was that they're doing. Zack and Kara clean up and seem very content to do so without my help.
Oh, that looks fun.
What does? I look up. Gingalane is standing there, retying his canteens to his belt. What does? He nods towards Leanna and Amelia. I follow his gaze to see them practicing magic out in the field. Amelia waves her hand and sends a small flurry of ice across the grass. The Pango grins, hopping up and down with excitement.
Boy! Boy!
I so want a Pango. He bounces after it, making Leanna giggle. Her manipulator pulses blue, and a small gust of wind breathes out from underneath him. It makes him hover above the ground.
Boy!
It's okay. I got you.
Leanna's breeze glides him along above the grass, steady and strong. The Pango's eyes light up.
Boy!
So happy. His little hovercraft. Leanna beams. She continues to push the Pango along, gathering speed and momentum. She makes him soar across the grass, and he lets out a loud squeak of delight. Amelia spirals more and more ice and snow, her magic trailing behind the Pango and glittering like the tail of a shooting star. Gingalane sits down beside me.
When I first met you, I felt like I could sense some magic within you, too.
I mean, I have a manipulator, so that would make sense. Gingalane studies me. His eye seems to stare deep within me, as if trying to unmask my secrets. I shift under his gaze. Does he already know about me? No, I'm just being paranoid. Shaking the thought out of my head, I smile at Gingalane, who returns my grin. His eyes crinkle warmly as he smiles.
Admittedly, I'm curious to know more about you. Perhaps I could dedicate a whole verse about you and your adventures.
A verse for me? Oh, how touching. Oh, a verse about me? He nods again. He smiles bright and excited.
Where is it you hail from?
Saria.
Yes, but where in Asaria?
Somewhere far away. Small place. You wouldn't know about it.
Try me. I am fairly well traveled.
I rack my brain for the name of a city or place. Any name. I'm from New York. Get out of here. Watch where you're walking, 'cause I'm from New York. Oh, the barren lands of Winterfall. Ugh. Finally, you're awake. Or do I come from the magical school of Hogwarts? 'Cause I'm a wizard. I think I'm gonna go... Wait, Winterfall? No, that's Winterfell. Oh no, I don't want to be from Winterfell. That is... I mean, the Starks are pretty cool. I mean, Starks all the way. Not TV Starks, book Starks. Just so you guys know, I am supporting the Starks in the book all the way. TV Starks, stupid. Okay. I want to be a wizard. Actually, I'm from Hogwarts. Gingalain Forest's brows.
Hogwarts?
Yes. Why not? Yeah, it's a pretty magical place.
Oh, how so?
It's very secluded and surrounded by nature.
How odd. I haven't heard of it.
He fixes me with that stare, and once again I feel the anxiety rise within me. Does he know I'm lying? Gingalain's smile falters, but he doesn't press me.
Did you leave to study at the Mage Academy?
Ooh. You know, I think I'll be honest. Well, kind of. Not exactly. Leanna taught me everything I know.
Oh, are you training to be a mage knight as well?
Kind of. She's been training me in both casting technique and sword fighting. You know.
I see. And how long have you been training with her?
How long have I been on Terror? Feels like years, but it could have been more than a few months. For a little bit, I guess.
Well, you must have a very high aptitude for magic indeed.
My heart stops. I haven't cast it in front of him before. How does he know? What makes you say that?
Well, it takes a very skilled mage to be able to train into a mage knight.
I laughed nervously. Oh, right, of course.
Hey, what are you guys up to?
I look up to see Leanna standing behind me. She grins with her hands on her hips. Bits of her hair is sparkling from Amelia's ice magic. It's pretty. Just chatting. I shoot to stand. Probably a little too fast, but I'm eager to get out of this conversation as quickly as possible. I'm feeling a bit tired, so I think I'm going to turn in early. Gingalain inclines his head.
Thanks for humoring this old bard.
I nod and shuffle over to the bedrolls. I see Leanna take my new vacant seat. The bango bounces over to me, shimmering from the magic.
Boy!
Hello. Did you have a good time?
Boy!
He jumps up and down, mimicking my flying. I saw that. You did fly.
Boy!
He jiggles happily and nestles in beside me. It isn't too long before I hear the others start to wind down for the night. I guess I was really more tired than I thought, because I soon fall asleep to the warm glow of the fire. Oh, that was nice. Someone is shaking me. I groan and blink awake. Everything still looks fuzzy. It's still dark out. What time is it? A blurry shape hovers over my face. I'm shaken again, harder this time. What? I groan and blink again, squinting. It takes a few minutes for my eyes to adjust. Amy?
Yes. Good evening.
She doesn't move. Her face is blank, but expectant. What's up?
I wish to be with you in private.
Oh. You are too young. I have a girlfriend. No. Heck yeah. No. We're gonna be generally caring. Is everything okay? This is the first time Amy has sought me out, so it must be really on her mind. Are you alright?
Yes. There's a matter I wish to discuss with you.
Oh, okay. Give me a second. I slip out of my bedroll and stand beside her.
Please, come this way.
She turns on her heel with a twirl of her cloak and leads me off to the side, far away from the camp and the rest of the group. So, what is it?
I have been pondering the possibility for you casting without the use of a manipulator.
Oh?
I believe it may be because you've absorbed magic from the elementals directly. That reservoir of magic has been within you since the Fire Temple, and it merely has been a matter of unlocking your potential to cast from within to utilize the energy. The harrowing situation on the beach proved it to be possible for you to channel from within. After having ample time to think, I believe it will be simple for you to pull that energy again.
Amy, you're such a nerd.
If this is the case, then perhaps you are able to cast more than one element.
I am the last airbender. I'm the Avatar! My eyebrows knit together. More than one? She nods.
Thus far, you have only manipulated wind energy. That would lead me to the conclusion that despite the energy you absorbed, you were only using wind energy. If my theory is correct, I believe you may have untapped magic gathered inside of you, those of the other elements. It is only a matter of bringing that magic to the surface. Have you attempted to use another element before?
I shake my head. No. Leanna's just been teaching me wind magic.
I see. Then allow me to show you how to use fire magic.
Ooh, what? Like right now? She nods and raises a hand. Flames blaze up and curl inside her palm, red and orange, light flickering across her face. Whoa, that's awesome! Emily doesn't smile, but I can see a spark of pride flicker behind her eyes. She closes her fist. The flames crackle between her fingers before flickering out with a puff of smoke.
Now, it is your turn.
Okay, how do I do it?
It is quite simple. Imagine the fire surging throughout your body. Imagine it flowing up your arm into your palm. If done correctly, a small flame should appear.
So, the magic in this world is based all about mental imagination. Because if that's the case, you could be very creative with these things, you know. Like a giant fire dragon, a giant wind golem, you know, creativity. I nod and try to do as she says. I hold out my hand and close my eyes. My brows knit together in concentration. I picture flames coursing through my veins and out into my hand. A teasing warmth tingles down the tips of my fingers, but nothing happens. I open my eyes, frowning. It isn't working. She crosses her arms.
This is a simple cast. Do not give up so easily.
Yeah, but maybe for me, it's not so simple. It took me some time to learn wind magic. She blinks.
Yes, but this is not wind magic. Perhaps we need a different approach.
She pauses and taps her chin.
You mentioned that absorbing each individual elemental energy gave you a different sensation. Perhaps we should focus on the emotional response you felt.
Oh, it's based on emotion, huh? The emotion? She nods. It's worth a try. Closing my eyes, I remember the fire elemental. I remember the courage and strength that rushed through me at her touch. The feeling gathers inside of my chest, coiled like a hot band of scarlet. I reach out and latch onto it. A crackling, sparkling warmth bursts down my arms. I open my eyes. Red sparks fizz across my fingertips. A huge grin splits my face. Whoa! Amelia calmly nods.
Try snapping your fingers.
I do. A tiny flame hisses and crisps, expanding into a larger one. I'm so excited. I almost start laughing. Sweet! She glances at the small flame and then nods.
Yes, good. Now, let's try this.
Wait, what? The tiny flame poofs out. There's more? Amelia blinks.
Of course. You have only succeeded in creating a basic fire spell. As such, there's still more work to be done.
If this was Pathfinder, I just learned to use the level 0 spell, Spark. Oh, I don't know how many people understand that. She's a lot stricter than Leanna. I hadn't realized how encouraging it was to have a mentor who shared in the excitement of my accomplishments until now.
If my hypothesis is correct, you should be able to combine your wind magic along with your fire magic.
Fire tornado. Oh, that sounds fun. Casting at the same time?
Correct. It is the same as any other cast. Focus on channeling your energy through your hand again. If it is easier, perhaps it would be best to summon the wind magic first and add the fire afterwards.
Or am I gonna go Naruto and create a Rasengan and then add fire Rasengan? Ooh. Amy waits for me to try, but I shake my head. Isn't this what a mage caster does?
Yes.
And doesn't it take years of schooling to become a mage caster student? Even more than it takes to become a full-fledged mage knight.
That is also correct.
What makes you think I'll be able to do it with no training and a rudimentary understanding of single element casting?
Your ability for learning is already expedited when you consider the length of time it took you to learn how to cast at all. Understanding those timelines, it does not seem unlikely that you would be able to quickly acclimate to double element casting.
Okay, I'll give it a try then. Reluctantly, I extend my hand. Instantly, a cool wind pours from my palm. Amelia's pigtails flutter in the soft breeze.
Good. Now add the fire magic.
How?
The same way you would normally cast fire.
Fire. How am I supposed to feel that same strength with fire and the feeling of freedom and weightlessness with wind? Searching within, I try to balance those two feelings and combine them into one. A moment later, that familiar tingling sensation murmurs down my arms. Heat sparks across my fingertips. Fire, larger this time, blazes into turrets around my hand and wrist. I jolt back, expecting for it to burn, but it doesn't. The wind groans and wisps around the flames, fanning them larger and larger.
Stop.
I do. The fire and the wind splutter out, so the rest of my strength slips away. My knees buckle and I gasp. Falling backwards against a tree, I slump to the ground like a deflated balloon.
Just as I expected.
Amelia blinks when she notices me on the ground.
Are you unwell?
I lean my head against the tree. I'll be okay. That was just a lot of energy.
I see.
She pauses, deep in thought.
Such a feat should have taken you significantly longer to learn.
Well, I'm the main character, obviously. She lifts her gaze back up to my face.
It might be easier for you to channel your energy because you have been absorbing magic directly from the elementals. Your progress seems to be accelerated because you are using energy stored directly from within you, instead of a secondary source, such as a manipulator.
I nod, trying to take all of this information at once, but my body feels so drained. It's suddenly an effort to keep my eyes open, all my limbs up. Amelia glances at me again.
That is enough practice for tonight. Perhaps it would behoove you to get some rest.
I agree. I let out a yawn. I am pretty tired. And it is still the middle of the night. Her brows knit together in thought.
Although, if merely casting two simple spells in conjunction exhausts you to this degree, I do fear how including more elements will affect you.
What do you mean?
For you to successfully open a rift, you will have to engage all of the elements you have absorbed. To cast multiple elements at once may prove fatal if you experience such exhaustion from using just two elements in such a basic cast.
My insides freeze. That's a bit of an exaggeration, isn't it? Amy shrugs.
Of course. This is merely speculation based on my observations.
Silence fills my head. It's an odd pounding, fizzing pressure.
Perhaps you will be able to gain the strength to cast all of the elements simultaneously.
What do you mean?
The more you use magic, the more accustomed you become to it. Just like muscles can be strengthened with stamina, your mind can be exercised in such a manner for casting.
How long will that take? She hesitates.
It is no mistake that as you lack the years of training many other casters undertake, you tire much faster than others. At this time, it is difficult for me to estimate that.
My heart sinks. The whole time I've been gathering energy from each of the temples to find a way home, but now there's a chance I won't even survive long enough to make it back. I fall silent. Amy watches me closely and grows uncomfortable with my disappointment.
As I mentioned before, this is purely speculation.
I nod, barely registering what she says. My head feels numb.
Given you are exhausted, it would benefit you to get some rest.
Amy hesitates again, as if unsure what to do next.
Good night.
Night. She turns on the heel and walks back to camp, leaving me alone with my thoughts. I may actually never return home. My friends and family. I may never see them again. My brain vaguely reminds me that I should go to sleep, but my feet are rooted to the ground. There was always the possibility that I may not be able to open a rift and go home, but the hope was always there. It didn't feel like such a real possibility before. Should I even bother trying to cast a rift if the consequences are literally deadly? Maybe I could be happy here on Terra. I think about my travel companions and the adventures we have together. We've only known each other for a short time, but I trust them completely. Plus, the thought of losing Leanna makes me feel empty. My world is so much fuller and brighter when I can see the way her eyes light up when she smiles, or how she plays with her manipulator when she's nervous.
Can't sleep.
Oh. I spin around at the voice and see Gingalin leaning against a tree. Oh, you're up. He nods.
I heard a noise which woke me up.
I see. It was probably my casting. He peers at me in the dark.
Something on your mind?
No, it's nothing. Neither one of us moved.
Of course, how can I expect you to be honest with me when I haven't been fully honest with you?
I knew there was something suspicious about him, especially when he was asking all those questions. Tensing up, I watch him warily. Honest about what?
Truth is, I had an ulterior motive for joining your group. While I do still believe you'd all make for a fantastic story, I joined to get to know you specifically.
The secret love interest, Gingalin. Why me?
I saw you at the beach.
The blood pounds in my ears. Maybe it's not what I think it is. So, we were all just hanging out.
I saw you cast without using a manipulator. Save that boy.
My heart hammers in my chest and I ball my fists. He saw me and sought me out. You must have been mistaken. That's impossible. Gingalin holds out his hands as a gesture of peace.
Please don't take that the wrong way. What you did was absolutely amazing, and I just wanted to learn more about you, to understand how you did that. I apologize if I came off too strong earlier.
Are you going to tell anyone?
No. I understand what it's like to be different from the norm, and how it can be both something special and a burden.
Slowly, I relax my fists.
I don't blame you for hiding who you truly are. Sometimes that's the safest thing you can do for yourself and others.
It sounds like he's talking from experience. I think back to the story he told earlier in the evening. Maybe there was a lot more truth to it than he let on. Thank you. He cracks a smile.
So, will you tell me where you're actually from now?
I freeze and he laughs out at my bewildered look.
I'm just joking with you. If you ever do want to talk, maybe I can lend a little bit of insight. You don't get to my age without learning a thing or two.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Thanks. He nods then stretches. Something about Gingalin. Maybe it's because he's new to the party, doesn't really know me yet. Or maybe it's because I just really need someone to talk to. That something makes me want to share. The words tumble out of my mouth. Actually, there's something I'd like to ask you. So, supposing you had a friend who was from somewhere else, and the only way for him to go home is so dangerous there's a chance he won't survive the journey. Would you still encourage him to take that option? Gingalin rubs his beard thoughtfully.
I would ask this friend what he means by home.
I blink. His friends, his family, his entire life.
Do you think those people would want him to make a life or death decision just to return to them? Or would they feel better knowing he chose the path that would guarantee him a life he could live as he wished?
I never really thought about it like that. But then he'd be stuck in his new world forever. Gingalin shakes his head.
Life is a journey. There is no defined destination. And because of that, there are no right or wrong ways to travel along this journey. Perhaps one day, his journey will be safe. Or he may not want to go back. Perhaps another day, the choice will be made for him. Or he can choose between both.
I feel myself relax as he speaks. He's right. I shouldn't give up hope just yet, because of a challenge that's been thrown my way. Thanks. That helps a lot.
Just remember that you have people who care about you, and will support you in whatever you decide.
No, it's not me, it's
Hypothetical friend, yes.
He winks at me, then stretches again.
Well, I think it's about time I try to get back to sleep.
Same here. Feels to me like Ginglin has experienced a lot more than a typical bard. Maybe he's also had to deal with some tough decisions in his life. Either way, he's pretty alright in my book. We head back to the rest of the party signs. Only gentle breathing of my friends can be heard over our footsteps. As I curl back up into my bedroll, I quickly drift off into a deep sleep. That was nice. That was certainly very nice. That was definitely very nice. He's making friends with him, even though he doesn't get along. I have learned to save multiple files. Yes. So, I wonder what you guys want for the ending, because I have a feeling there's going to be multiple choices. Will you want me to stay, or would you want me to go home? Or maybe there's more options we don't even know about. Dun dun. Yeah. I can't wait to see the next episode. And by that I mean, like, I can technically keep playing if I wanted. But you guys will have to wait. Anyway, I am just waffling on. Thank you all for watching and joining me today. I hope you have a pleasant evening, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, and love you all.